Uh, all right. Good morning, Patrick here. I have Cheetah Willview. The cheetah is actually downstairs sleeping. Um, it is overcast here in Michigan. I'm not sure if we're going to get rained on or not. We did get some rain yesterday, and it looks like it wants to today, but we'll see. Um, so last night we did a show with actor Nick Bailey, and I brought out my new phone. And unfortunately, my old phone was struggling a bit. So yeah, so it was time to get a new one. So I went and was going to run the show yesterday on it, but I had echoing problems, so we had to go with the old phone, which surprisingly held up. We only got booted once. That surprised me. The Curse of Astor only got me once. Um, so, oh, good. There they are. Um, Mika and Kira. I sent the link for Sunday for Black Coat's Daughter. I sent the link to Monty to send to you since I don't have my Instagram up yet. So I sent that to Monty to send to you. So I'm getting pretty excited for Sunday, that's for sure. We'll be tearing it up. And what I really like about the Black Coat's Daughter too is the fact that not only was it Osgood Perkins his first movie, but this movie was released before A24 became very popular with the next in 2016 with The Witch. So this is one of those movies when you look at it, it didn't do anything at the box office. It was like, and it was like an IFC film. Come out there, play four screens, and then go to home market. Um, so this is basically without this movie's basically was not really talked about too much when it came out. It gradually grew into a cult favorite. Now, of course, now that Oz Perkins is now a major director, I suspect probably sooner than later we will see a lot more people talking about his past body of work. Um, so yeah, got some iced coffee here. I'm about to begin my run for Dylan Von Harvey. 8 o'clock, 8 o'clock Eastern. 8 o'clock Eastern, 5 o'clock Pacific. Yeah, you know what? It's gonna be a first time watch for me too, Trenchy. I'm gonna be watching it tomorrow and make my notes. I love the cast in it already. Lauren Holly, James Remar, um, Emma Roberts, and Sharon Kipka. She's really good. That girl can act her ass off. She's really good. I don't know if they released the Adventures of Sabrina. I know that came out. I know that came out on Netflix, I believe. I don't know if that got a physical release or not, but I hope it did because I would really like to see that show. She's really good. I don't know why she doesn't work more though. Um, yeah, I here. So here's the honest to God truth. Uh, Mika and Kira, I've actually had the movie for years, years. Um, but it's like one of those. I mean, people would be really surprised. You know how those boutique channels they go out there and they buy like 60 boutique boutique movies and they tell you all about it. I bought this. I bought this. Right. Um, and then they never watch it. Um, I'm not like quite like that, but my intake of films easily crushes my outtakes of what I watch. I mean, I might be able to watch two movies a day. Sometimes I do that, but when I go like to the library, I'm pulling home 10. So, so I've actually had this movie. I got it at my video store, Family Video. I've had it. I I can't tell you why I haven't watched it. There is my main man, Gareth. I just saw he's going to be doing another Sedaris movie. Loving that. Loving the fact that going back to revisit the land of the lethal ladies. Very cool. Very cool. Um, yeah, I like to see that. I know that they got away with a lot more since it was on cable. It was on cable, so they didn't have to pull their punch, so to speak. But I thought I know it's gonna be there's gonna be some. I know people are gonna say what, but it's actually true. I actually got the first two seasons of Riverdale. I enjoyed Riverdale. I thought Riverdale was a lot of fun. I thought it was very cool. I was very pessimistic because I grew up with Archie comics, and so I've always known Archie as a fun-loving, but they started doing a lot of serious stories in Archie, including Archie dying. I think he died stopping a racist attack, if I'm not mistaken, what it was. I mean, they were doing some adult stories in the comic book. And then when they went ahead and they came out there and said, well, we're going to do a series and we're going to go ahead and make it more for adults. Um, yeah, I love the girl who played Veronica, Camille Mendez. I thought she was sensational. I loved her character. Um, and Machen Amick was really good in that. Yeah, there are some good turns in it. Yeah, it did get weird and odd, but you know what? It fit with what the comic book was doing at the time. You know what I'm saying? It's like Archie didn't go goofy, he didn't, but they were doing some really experimental stories in the comic. Crossovers, just the weight of the stories. I mean, they were trying to make, rejuvenate Archie. And the funny thing is, Archie is actually it's a very, very popular comic because it gets to get sold at supermarkets. Hi, Sue. If you go to the checkout at your local supermarket and they have all the little magazines there, you'll see Archie every month, the Archie Digest, there, right there. No other comic book has that freedom. Nobody. I mean, not only is Archie being sold at comic book stores, but it's being sold at the supermarket, and a lot of people buy it. All right. I am going to be, while we're talking, I am going to be sharing. I'm going to be sharing out my show for tonight with Dylan Fawn Harvey. Um, I'm super excited about this. Mm, Let's see if I can go ahead. Yeah, I'm going to go ahead with that. Let's see. All right. So we are started our run now. Because my Instagram is still down, have to go back to mainly Facebook being my primary advertising promotion. But Facebook came out this week and said they cleaned out like 10 million false accounts. Yeah, I believe that, right? Okay, I see what I have to do. um I'll go back. Oh, right. I'm gonna go ahead and resave this. So, how many people are gonna go see the new I Know What You Did Last Summer movie? Uh, the artwork is gonna do fine. In fact, I it looks like the weather hangs out for what it is. I'll be going out there in a couple hours and hitting it, which I'm very excited about. Um, I went out there yesterday, and yeah, I was out there, but it was really, really hot, real hot. So um, I couldn't stay out there for very long. You just I'm not as young as I used to be, so I feel the heat a little bit worse. Uh, one of the screenwriters on that movie is a lady named Leah McKendrick. She's one of the writers of the film, and I've known Leah for years now, and I knew that she was going to be one of the writers of the film. I have an interview that we did with her, and of course, this is one of those things where you get the person to interview, and then right afterwards they just blow up. That happened to Leah, and I'm so happy for her. She's became a very busy person, and I'm still looking for her movie called uh, Egg, I believe it's called. And yeah, she's very talented. I saw her for the first time. She did a short, Poison Ivy short, and it was absolutely sensational. And so I got to talk to her, and I got to talk to her at the time. I still think they still work together. Um, Mariah Owen, um, they helped produce. They produced and starred in MFA, which was the movie that broke out Corley Fouget, who made The Substance. Leah and her worked together on MFA together. It's a really cool story. As far as following that, each of them have gotten more well known. Leah also did a movie called The Turkey Bowl, and The Turkey Bowl was an independent film, and it also starred another familiar face, who was just starting out, and that was Alan Ritchson, who is now Jack Reacher, and what had played Hawk and Dove on Titans. But that was one of his early roles too, that he starred with Leah in the Turkey Bowl. So it's really cool to it's all, like I said, it's one of the coolest things when you do a show like the interview show, is to watch the people advance. It's cool to talk to established stars. It is, but man, for me, it's always been for me like this. I always love to get them first, before they launch. Just to sit there and say, I saw that, and there's something for that, you know. There's earnestness and hope and ambition and love and drive. When someone's just starting out, and especially in the acting world, or music world as well, and it's just all that energy right there. Um, sitting in a back room talking music with Gwen Stefani when there's like 30 people out there watching, No Doubt, play at a club. I mean, that's something you just don't get to do very often. It's like, wow, I remember, you know. So let's see. So okay, all right, here we go once again. Oops. Oh, I didn't do that. Uh, Okay, so I'm sending this out again. Yeah, so we got to be real careful about advertising here. Um, I don't know what the limit is. Before it would be no limit. The only thing that would set off Facebook if you did it really fast, because then they think that you're a bot, or AI. So I do try to go slow so they can see it's like a human doing this. But sometimes they let me go for a few times, and then there's times where they'll stop me after six and say that like we suspect suspicious activity. So then you have to wait a little bit and then go back and try it again. Uh, it's like they want you to do groups, they want you to promote your groups, they want all that, but when you do it, all of a sudden it's like you're a spammer. And that's because there's so much spam out there anyway. Got to give a shout out to my boys, Tom and Tim Gross from Gross Fest. Super supportive on the channel. Love those two brothers a lot. Um, if you're in the Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania area, August 1st and 2nd, and are looking for something for fun to do, highly recommend Gross Fest. Highly recommend going there. They so Gross Fest they're doing a 2 day show. They're doing 2 days for a 2 day ticket, full of entertainment, panels, celebrity guests, cool ass vendors, you know, just all sorts of fun for a 2 day pass. $15. $15 for a convention, a horror convention. I, how come we can't have that here? Good Lord. Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, $15 for 2 days. And they have some of the funnest guests there. This year is going to be featuring Mark Polonia and his cast of his Polonia pals. Um, they're going to be featured. Mark will be tired. Mark is everywhere. He just got back from Japan. It was the second annual Shark Week, I guess, or Shark Film Festival, and he was a guest of honor. And so he went to Japan this week. And so but yeah, it's really cool. Actually, it's really cool to see him get out there more in the public eye. He's very hard to get as a guest, or he was. Our friend Stephen Flug from House of Horrors, he can tell you all about that. He chased Mark down for 2 damn years before he got him. 2 years before he got Mark. Um, but he did get him. He ended up getting him by going to work for him. He ended up working for Mark in a few of his movies. Hey, Anthony. Um, so yeah, we were just trying. We were talking like, man, we gotta get you, Mark Poloni, on your show. And he says, yeah, but he doesn't do anything. He doesn't do any interviews or press conferences or anything. And then he did a phone interview with Entertainment Weekly for Amityville in Space. And I was like, oh, miracles do happen. So we we did our best. We did I said, well, why don't we try to get them to come to you? But I tell you what, why don't we do a Polonia week? So we'll get some of Mark's movies, and we'll each watch a Polonia movie. We'll review it, and then at the end of the week, for the House of Horrors, we'll get a bunch of the Polonia pals on there. And so me and Steven and Al Ducard, also known as the Bat, that's what we did. We did a Polonia week, and we watched 5 movies and reviewed them, and then they went up to the interview. Um, we still didn't get Mark to come on to the show. It still didn't work. Um, so, but he did eventually get Mark to come out there and do an interview with him. Um, Congratulations. I mean, to me, that's one of the biggest guests I've seen anybody get on who does interviews. Myself, Gareth, you know, it's just even the Nat hasn't gotten Mark Polonia yet. Um, it's just but now we're thinking now that he's doing more and more publicity, it does seem like his movies are getting a little bit more notoriety. Maybe that will happen more and more. um am doing another Polonia week myself. um Not necessarily try to get Mark on the show. I've never asked Mark to come onto the show. I I always felt like that was sort of like Steven's thing, It was like he established a relationship with Mark. And I always felt like if anybody's going to get to interview Mark Polonia, it's going to be Steven because he's earned it, right? Because he put in the work for it. I mean, it sort of sucks. It would sort of suck to see somebody bust their ass for 2 years trying to get an interview, and then someone who slides in there and takes the interview away. That would not be so much fun. That would be rather mean, I would think. Um, but Yeah, but we're doing another Polonia week, the last week in July, because we're leading it up to Grossfest. We're bringing up a 10. We're going to be talking about Grossfest during the week, we're doing an interview with Jeff Kirkendall, who works very close with Mark. He's a producer and a writer in his own right, a director in his own right. He's done a ton of Mark films. Mark has actually done some of his films. Um, and Jeff Kirkendall is a very nice man. He's a very nice man. And I learned a lesson from him, and I really can't wait to talk to him, because the very first thing I'm going to be saying to the man is an apology, because this has haunted me for ever since the show. Hi, Ava. Welcome in, everybody. Share us out if you like to. So when we were starting doing our interview shows, I had when I was working with the Midnight Hour with Hobbs from Hobbs Horror, Stephen came through with us, and he says, "Hey, I can get you Danielle." Uh, oh boy, Danielle Harris. Um, and so he did. Stephen brought Danielle Harris, and she came on and she did like a 30-minute appearance on the Midnight Hour. It was crazy. You could watch that on Hobbs's channel on his playlist. That was nuts. Um, and then Steve was sitting there saying, "Well, I could bring you this, I could bring you that." And I said, "Well, why the hell would you want to do that? Why don't you just do your own show, right? Let's get you up and running. If you got all these connections, why bring in to somebody else? You could do it yourself." And Steven started the House of Horrors, and and I actually hosted the very first show. Um, I hosted the first show. Steven was still getting his feet, getting his feet going, getting the ground underneath his feet. And then he did one of his shows, and he had Jeff Kirkendall come on, and he asked me if I wanted to co-host, and I said sure. And so it was me and Steven interviewing Jeff Kirkendall. And at the time, I'm sitting there just starting to talk to some independents and whatnot, and I was sitting there, this is beginning for me too, right? I'm just learning this too, you know. And to me, I was watching Mark's movies at the time and going like, wow, he's got some really good ideas, but there's just no money in these movies. I mean, there's no money spent. And I'm thinking to myself, going like, wow, why don't they just this is before I really knew what was really going on, how movies were being made. So I'm sort of naive when I'm coming up with what I'm going to tell you now. And I said, well, why don't they just save up their money and then do it? And one of the questions, when we start talking to Jeff about the money aspect of it, and then one of the questions I asked him was, you know, wouldn't it be better instead of spending $5,000 and having a cheap looking movie? Wouldn't it be better to save up 10,000 and make a better movie? Again, I didn't know, but what I remembered and what haunts me is, but you could tell by his body language that we put him on the defensive. I did. My questions weren't asked in any sort of hostile way or aggressive way. They're all I'm curious, I'm very curious. But at the same time, just because I'm curious, the question itself could be interpreted as this is making me uncomfortable. And so, when I go back there and I watch that video, you can see him close down. His arms are like this, and I told Steven right after that show, I said, "Man, I messed up. I messed up." I mean, you could see how uncomfortable he was and defensive, and that stayed with me. And I made sure I took that lesson from that interview, and make sure that you know, I framed my questions a lot better going forward, and basically to read the room. If I have a guest that's doing this, or looking away, I know that I'm treading past their boundaries. So you have to come back, and not to say you can't ask your questions. You know, why do the show if you can't? Um, but you can frame them a lot better. Maybe not jump at them the first time. When you first talk to them. Um, And this is one of the things that because it depends who the guest is too. Sometimes you start slow and you build your way up, of talking to. Yeah, I learned a lot from that interview, and I always, in the back of my mind, I always said that if I ever got a chance to talk to Jeff, I would apologize for that, and that made me a better interviewer. So I'm very excited to talk to Jeff, because I think like I said, I think he's a very nice man, and he's been in a lot of fun movies, and he's been by Mark's side for as his producing partner. His he's done some directing, and yeah. But I learned a lesson from him, and I've never gotten a chance to sit there and say I'm sorry, because I didn't, and I want to do it publicly. I'm not going to go behind here and say, "Hey, man, I'm going to tell him just like I'm telling you right now what I did wrong," and thank him for helping me become a better interviewer. Guests, they're a lot of fun. Guests are a lot of fun. All of a sudden everybody seems to be doing the interviews. It's like it's weird. When I first started out on my tube journey, um, what people, it's funny because there was we were doing the midnight hour. We got the midnight hour started, me and Hobbs, and and what's really funny is that there was another channel, and the channel owner has started doing interviews, and after Steven and I, after Steven, after I got Steven to do his show. I said, Lauren, we'll get your show started. And his first show happened to fall on another channel who's doing an interview. And we didn't know that we were sharing the same space, and we apologized. and because we didn't want that to happen. Turned out the interview had been taped; it wasn't live, so I didn't feel quite as bad at that. Um, but this person had done a few interviews. He'd done a handful of interviews, and so he was pretty arrogant about it too, because he got some decent guests. I mean, Di Lin was actually on his show. He got David Howard Thornton on the show, and so he had a few interviews underneath his belt. He didn't go very far with it, but he got a few underneath his belt. And then Hobbs and I said, hey, why don't we bring that here? And so I went out and I got our guests for the midnight hour. We got Sadie Katz, and this channel creator made it a point to sit there and go like, "Wow, I see someone else is stealing my thunder, stealing my idea." So, needless to say, I had a big laugh at that because he made a point of that. Like I was doing this first, and I said, "Wow, how many have you gotten? You gotten like 10 or 12? Not bad." But over on my blog, which is where Eight Questions started off as, I have 131 interviews on there before I even met your ass, before I even knew who you even were. So I've been doing this for years before you started doing what you're doing. Years. I've done 131 of them. They're sitting right over there. You can go ahead and take a look at them, take a read. So I've been doing it for a long time. And so, but at the time when I first started out, we were doing it on the midnight hour, and then that's what I did. I saw that, hey, Sadie, this is fun. This is like Eight Questions with. I said, well, why can't I do that here on my channel? Um, so I did. I decided to do Eight Questions with over here. So I left the midnight hour, and those guys are crazy anyway. I love those guys. Those guys make me laugh. And Hobbs is a good interviewer. Let me tell you that right for the record right here. Josh Hobbs from Hobbs Horror, that guy could interview if he had a halfway decent chance to do it. He could do it. I seen him do interviews. The guy has skills. He has and I keep telling him once, 3 or 4 times a year, like, dude, do some more interviews on the midnight hour. I'll help you. Um, but we got oh yeah, I told him, you can rest your bottom dollar. I told him, I says, here's my list of 131 interviews, and you just now started, and now you're saying I'm stealing your shit. you, you should just shut the hell up and know your role. Because and not only that, but I also learned too, if you go over there and listen to some of those interviews, there are a couple in there that are cringy as hell. I mean, I'm sitting there, I was feeling embarrassed for him. Some of the stuff that he was saying during his interview. Hey, Cheryl. Um, oh, how'd you like Malicious, Cheryl? I noticed I didn't hear back from you last night. Didn't hear back from you last night, and I'm thinking, oh, she's gonna be pissed when she sees this movie. This this movie has some spice to it, and it does. Malicious has a lot of spice to it. Um, yeah. So that's so we got Eight Questions with up and running, and that was a lot of fun. Uh, yeah. But I definitely, I was the only one doing it on a consistent basis, and then Steven started doing it. Gareth from Video Tasties, he was doing it. He started doing interviews. JT, Al the Card, the Bat, aka the Bat. In fact, we even got Eric from Hey Internet Eric. We even jumped him. We even got him doing interviews now. He's a good interviewer as well. I see that the Steven from Craven Something's Scary, he's done a few interviews. People have, and it's before I never saw anybody do it, and like at least not in my corner. I'm sure people are doing it all the time. There's no doubt about that. I mean, but in the world that I know on YouTube, nobody else was really doing it until I started doing Eight Questions with. But now there's other people doing it, and some of them are kicking ass. There's no doubt about that. Um, yeah. Um, so if you're gonna do a interview show, Miki and Kira, I think it would be sensational. I think you'd be, I think you would be, I think you do well. Now here's the strangest thing. The strangest thing is that interviews with peers, with content creators, they do better than the ones you do with celebrities. With the movie stars and the directors and producers. I- it baffles me about that. I love interviewing creators. Oh yeah, it definitely is a hard watch. In the story, the only thing that was confusing, I didn't bring this up last night with him because I didn't want to get too deep into the movie per se, you know. But there was a scene, the plot with the two other guys. I didn't know what they were there for. They were like, who are they? Why are they there? All we got was um, these guys are driving to see Will, but we don't know why. And I was just like, who are they? Why are they there? Why aren't they helping him? Um, but yes, it's a good movie, very well acted, very well acted. And yeah, you're right. The ending was a banger. That's for sure. Um, but if you go in, I mean, Ava herself had actually interviewed a few creators as well. Um, see, and that was fun. I've been on her show when she did when she was doing interviews. That was a lot of fun, and they've actually been on the show too. Um, about due to come back because I enjoy talking to the captain because the captain's into talk. Um, but yeah, interview with creators always seem to do better, which really perplexes me. It perplexes me in the fact that when you sit inside of a chat, like you're talking about Friday the 13th, or you're talking about Nightmare on Elm Street, or any of the big franchises, you're talking about them, and then when I'll tell you a good example that just killed me. Um, was Steven. I'll talk about Steven here because I remember this. This is just blew my mind. Was all these bigger channels with all these bigger horror channels, and so you get them. They'll have like 30 people in the chat, and you hear them talk about Friday the 13th all the time, all the time, all the time. Right? Oh yeah, they'll debate it. They'll talk about the people in the movie, the kills, the thrills, whatever. Right? You see 30 people, 40 people talking. So someone in the community, in this case, Steven, well, he lands a director. He lands Tom McLaughlin, the man who brought Jason back to life. Right? Jason lives. Um, and he brings him back to life. He's iconic. So Steven lands this director um, to come over and talk with him. Now, Steven at the time, he didn't have the biggest channel, but he promoted like hell, right? He promoted like hell. I helped promote it and everything else. It's Tom McLaughlin. I mean, people pay hundreds of dollars to go to conventions to be able to walk up to Tom McLaughlin, shake his hand, and get a picture taken. That'll be $100, it'll be $80, right? Here he is, Tom McLaughlin, for freaking free. And the best thing is, you get to ask a question instead of being in an auditorium, a hall with like 500 people, and you stand in line to ask one little question, right? So no, you could actually go to this interview, be able to talk to Tom, be able to ask him some more than one question. You can sit there and ask as many questions as that they could get to, and lo and behold, no one shows up. No one shows up. There was like 4 people in the show. 4 people. Tom McLaughlin. Same people that are sitting there in a bigger channel. I call them. I guess you can call like Walmart horror fans. Talking about Friday the 13th, and you're sitting there and you're going like, Tom McLaughlin just did a live interview on another channel. I mean, if you guys would have got your head out of each other's asses, you guys could have went over there and talked to Tom for free, asking some damn questions, and nobody showed up for it. And it wasn't like Steven didn't bust his ass, because he did. And you sit there and you watch these people talk afterwards, and I'll be honest with you, you lose a lot of respect. You lose a lot of respect for people like that. It's like, wow, you that's crazy. That's crazy. And here and get this. You're gonna really love this. So about a year later, so oh, I ask that question every show. Kira and Mika. I ask that myself every show. Um, when I first started out, it was I had between 15 to 18 show up. Um, I noticed that once I took my first break, that the support got cut in half. I wasn't on for a month. Support got cut in half. Uh, I understand that, but you need to take a break. And I have never really recovered from that first break. My shows don't do shit. I mean, you can go and look at my playlist, and my playlist, you're looking at there, you've seen the people I've talked to, and you equate that with the views, you be shaking your head too. You're going like, what the hell? Gareth, Gareth, Gareth brings a lot of great guests. I mean, and JT busts his ass. Um, and and Steven did too. Um, but I mean, especially for someone like a Gareth, I mean, he's got some really he's got some really good. I mean, he's had Cynthia Rothrock on his channel. Um, I actually, man, I came out on my break to ask questions over at Gareth. He has some. He just like, yes, I want to ask some questions. um, I I love it too. I mean, I really like the variety. But for the life of me, it just, but I always said this. My motto going into the show was this: I'm just doing, it's me. I'm the one that's asking the questions. I'm the one that's curious. So I mean, even if it's just me there, that's really, I just want to talk. I just want to talk to them. I mean, if people find it, that'd be great. But like I said before, um, interviewing creators. Before I get that, before I lose my thought, I want to follow up with this. So a year later, after Tom McLaughlin, the director, Friday the 13th director, he came back to Steven's show a year later. Steven's channel was much bigger. He'd been established. House of Horrors had been established. He still promoted like a fiend, and he brought Tom back. Went out there, promoted it all over again. First time he had 4 people. Great. He's gonna be a gang load of people here because people are talking Friday the 13th, and everybody's getting hyped up. Everybody, uh, you know, and Steven comes back with another show. The last show was 4 people. 4 people showed up again. I think maybe it was 5. One of the guests was our good friend Voss from Great Britain. He woke up. He set his alarm clock in Great Britain. He set his alarm clock so he would actually get up and be able to come and watch Tom McLaughlin on Steven's show live. He and I were the only ones that were there from the start to the finish. Yeah, yeah, I'm really happy, Cheryl. I'm really happy in the fact that I've never had a guest um, say they were uncomfortable. I've never had a guest be upset. Um, as far as that goes, I've never had any of that. We talk off camera, after we say goodbye, because then we talk a little bit afterwards. I have never had anybody uh, upset, or ups, they've all been very, very kind. Um, one guest who was a former journalist said that I says, "You're very much a journalist," which was high praise indeed. Um, says, "You ask some great questions. You ask questions like a journalist." I mean, if I, because she was a journalist for years, and she says those are the same questions I would be asking if I was still doing my job, if I was still in that field, and that made me feel really good. Um, I'm always looking to improve. I'm always looking to get better. Um, yeah, because I try to do that because just saying goodbye and just like just no, I want to talk a little bit afterwards. I really enjoy that aspect of it. Um, yes, that's what I do it too, Trenchy. I just do it for myself. It's like I hope that you find it. I hope that and the thing is too is I try to push this angle too. Like Cheryl's driving right now, right? She's driving. Hi, Laverne. She's driving. She doesn't need to watch my show. She doesn't need to visually watch it. She can listen to it like a podcast. You can have it turned on and not have a picture on, and it's just like a podcast. You don't have to watch me in order to hear me. That's what I look at it. That's to me, that's sort of a benefit. A lot of times with YouTube is all about visuals. With Eight Questions with, it's not. It's visual and oral. You can, either way, it works either way. So I tell you another thing too, through interviewing folks. Um, Now we do the watch parties too, and this is something I really like. Even though I sort of like to get it down a little bit. I guess the movie dictates this, but if you go, you'll see that we do a little watch party. And what we try to do now is try to bring somebody in from the industry, preferably someone who's actually worked on the film. Sometimes we have people who haven't worked on the film, but they have a perspective on it. Like Saturday, I'm doing a watch party with actress Gabriella Westwood. We're doing that this Saturday at 8 o'clock. Um, it wasn't because Gabrielle was in the film. It's because her and I are huge Haley Bennett fans, which I found out by watching her post on Haley's channel on Instagram channel. I said, "Hey, you're a Haley Bennett fan." She goes, "Oh, I love Haley." So no, I don't have. I don't. You know what though? What the problem though Trenchy. This is the problem that I had. I mean, the problem is that when you see a bunch of people sitting in a room, in a chat room, and they're talking about horror movies, right? They're talking about horror movies or they're horror fans per se, and and there's consistently good interviews that are happening, right? Where you could go and ask questions. Um, like JT and Ken Sledge, they've interviewed Amy McDonald from Megan, right? They got to both interview her. Uh, Gareth got to he's got some sensational interviews. He got to interview Richard Norton. He's got to, I mean, a lot of action stars. He's interviewed a lot of directors. Um, you know, I mean, but when you go over there and you see, like 10 or 12 or 13 people over there, and you're sitting there going like, wow, why? Sometimes Gareth will hit it. He'll hit it, and there'll be like 20, 21 people in there. That's awesome. I'm all about that. JT once in a great while he'll pop that number too. But what really kills me about this is that all these people afterwards will be taught, especially the ones who go to conventions. Those are the ones that you just want to go like, what the hell? You spent hundreds of dollars or thousands of dollars to drive, to get a hotel, to eat, to buy the tickets, to get inside the convention, then walk up there to Tom McLaughlin and shake his hand and get a picture taken. You just spent $1,500 doing that, and you could have popped over on YouTube and sat there for an hour and a half and typed in like 5 or 6 questions. You know, Probably the only thing that you didn't get was a picture. That's the only thing you ever miss out on. You don't get a picture per se if you're in the chat. Um, so yeah, that's the only thing that gets me. People talk about, they talk about, yeah, you know, yeah, I can't wait for this movie to come out. I wonder how they're gonna do this, what actors they're gonna get. And it's like, why don't you go over there and ask the director? He's sitting over there over at Steven's channel right now. Head on over there and ask him a few questions. And we had David Thornton Howard come in on Stephen has David Howard Thornton. The one time he had a handful of people, a handful. I think it was less than 10. Try doing that now. Try calling on him over there and try to get him to do an interview now. You couldn't do it. You couldn't do it. Now, yeah. That's. I'm trying to think. I'm gonna. I'm trying to remember the show that I broke out of my. I gotta go. Let me find this. I fanboyed out. Okay. So, and yes, if you're wondering, do I fanboy out for some of these interviews? Hell yeah, I do. Uh, I'm hoping that he made a playlist. Let's see. Let me see. Let's see. Trying to find his interviews. He's got a lot of he's got a lot of playlists. Playlists helped a lot too. I'll tell you that. Okay. Okay, so I got it. In fact, I'm gonna even do better than that. I'm gonna drop this link in this chat here, and please put this down in your channels. Just like if you want a good podcast or what have you. Here is Garrett's interviews right here off his channel. What I really like about Gareth he is a really nice guy. He's a good interviewer too. He's very patient, and and he definitely comes across as being a total fan. And and he says he gets, and I find this to be really charming. Um, he says I get nervous every time I go up. Every time I'm interviewing somebody, you've been scolded in the chat for attendance. For not showing up. Oh gosh, there's so many good shows coming on. There's so many. There's so many good channels going on. I mean, seriously, they shouldn't be scolding you. Yeah, nobody, no, nobody who does that. Um, I just find it a little bit. I just find it like watching people sit there and talk about certain like raw, like like everybody and their mother is talking about Superman. But I promise you, if someone got like a stuntman or an actor, maybe not the biggest role, but got on the movie and they did an interview with them, more likely or not, nobody would show up for it. Oh my gosh, he's got some good interviews. Yes. Okay, so yes, this is karma right here. So the one when I took my break, when I took my break, oh, I think you guys will really like this. I hope so. So I took my break from my channel, like I wasn't putting any content. And then Gareth went ahead and he said that he was talking to Matthias Hughes. Now Matthias Hughes was a big action star of the 90s. He pretty much played the bad guy in most of his movies. Once in a while, he could play a good guy, and he's doing it really well. But Matthias Hughes he still is big. He's a big dude, and he's badass. I fanboyed out. I fanboyed out, and I was sitting there watching the interview online, and he says, "Would you like to come up and ask some questions?" Now I'm supposed to be on break, like no lie. Just I said, "Hell yes." I fanboyed out there. I got on that link in record time. I couldn't believe it. I couldn't believe it. Here I'm talking to Matthias Hughes. I got to ask him like three questions. I'm sitting over here. I'm sitting over here trying to get as many questions as I can before Garrett says, "Who's doing the interview? You or me?" So, but I think I got like three. I think I got like three questions in. But I was pumped. I was pumped to be able to do that. Now, what's really fun is afterwards, after Gareth did after Gareth did the interview, I got to know actor and director Joe Cornette and Alexander Nevsky, and Matthias is friends with Alexander, and I got to talk to Joe and Alexander. In fact, the gentleman who we had on the show yesterday, Nick Bailey, he also did a show with Alexander. Alexander is actually the one that tapped me, and I told this to Nick. He tapped me and says, "Dude, you got," he didn't say dude, but he says, "Dude, you gotta talk to Nick Bailey. That guy's got a great resume. He's a great actor. He's a And so I reached out to him. I'm going like, yeah, I would like to do it. Like do the show. And of course, those who were here yesterday saw that it was a kick-ass show. He was a tremendous guest yesterday, man. And we got a Cheryl up there watching Malicious. Um, uh, wow, it's just so many. It's just so many people doing a lot of things. Like when I first started the 8 questions with, I did try to make sure that I wasn't stepping on anybody's shoes. Like if they were doing an hour long, show at 8 o'clock and they've been there for a while, I made sure that I wasn't there. Because I felt like, hey, they worked hard to create their spot, and it's their spot, and and I don't want to go ahead and compete, so to speak. That's not what I want to do. It's impossible to do YouTube and not step on someone's toes. It is what it is. Uh, you know, uh, there's. I mean, I lost a good friend. I lost a good friend because they got their feelings hurt because they felt like I was impinging on their area, even though we did everything in our power not to do that. We moved our show back 2 hours from theirs. I mean, they were going on at 8 o'clock. We were going on like at 10 o'clock. We were trying to create an area where we weren't doing that. You know, they were doing a series of movies as we were, and we made sure that we stayed exactly behind them. We were 2 hours away, plus we stayed behind them as not to step on anybody's toes. But it wasn't good enough for this person, and you know, they got butthurt over something really stupid. It was more of a control thing than anything else. Um, and I don't play that. I will work with anybody. If you have something big you want to do, if you like, if Ava's telling me, hey, me and Doug, we're going to do a 2-hour special. Can you help us out promote it? Hell yeah, I'm all about that. I'm all about that. There's many times that she supported me through a share, and I've supported them through a share. I might not be able to make it, but I also know life comes in. Life happens. Um, no, no, no. It's funny too. It's like and people argue about people will I walked into this scenario, and there's someone who I respect very much, and they came up with a really cool idea for a show, and and they shared it to some friends. Hey, we're thinking about doing this and doing that, and someone liked that idea so much that they decided to take it for themselves. They took his idea and they decided to run with it themselves. What's worse is that they said it was their idea. It wasn't. It was the other creator's idea, but they said no, it's our idea. We've been doing it. And I told this creator who was telling me the story. I said, really? Because I know the other party, the one that took the idea. I know the other party, and I said, wow, that's some balls right there. That's some balls, because we've been doing this for 3 years, the same format. In fact, they were part of it. They were part of it, and it was my idea to do this. For us, it was like my idea. Because I it made sense to me. It's like, man, I want everybody on the slice of the pie, right? Yes, Ava, it was mind-boggling. I was sitting there going like, wow, you're gonna take the guy's idea, you're gonna say it's yours when someone else who has been doing, and you were there for that, and then you're gonna go ahead and try. Oh, it's just, if I wasn't a gentleman, but if they have static, if they hear this and they have static about it, I'm not hard to find. I'm not hard to find. But I like my. There is room for everybody. There absolutely is. Absolutely. I wish we had. But you know what? I do cherish the shows that we have that are singular. that there's not that many people doing it like Ava and the Captain. I mean, no one else is doing what they're doing in my community anyway. If I want to hear good music, I slide on over there and I get taken away for an hour, hour and a half. Being a music guy that I am, I enjoy it very much. You're the only ones really doing it. No one else is doing it. So I appreciate it. Not and there isn't that many out there. Um, so you got people who van life. There's people out there that will there's not a lot of them, at least not in my world. But I like watching Cheryl. I like watching Tim. Marshall. They do van life builds. Greg, fitness for Arizona. Um, the, Tim, the guy, his name is Tim. More bang for your bucks. That guy is freaking amazing. That guy, he's a trailblazer. I hate to say that, but that's in this country. I think that he's leading the way in this because I think there's going to be a lot more of us doing this, not by choice, but by necessity. But his latest video that he put out of his van build, I didn't think he could actually do half the stuff that he does in his. Yes, I was just this is me watching that last video of his because that his setup was so perfect. It's perfect. I don't know what else he could do to make it work. Uh, so yeah, I mean, there's plenty of room for out there. Um, but I guess we were talking about interviewing, and I there's a lot of people out there interviewing now, and more power to them. More power to them. They get out there, they work hard at it, they find interesting guests. Some do talk to like Gareth and JT. They do talk to filmmakers. We got Jim from Jim's Movie Channel. He's more of a content creator, interviewer. Um, uh, Corey Wilkie's Movies and Music. He's more of a content creator, interviewer. Um, Dell. Movie Swap with Dell is an amazing show too. I like that show a lot. I like that show a lot. That's an interesting show. Um, I keep on hoping that I hope that I get invited back. Um, I think his show is pretty amazing. I try to bring a lot of people to the party. I mean, I try to, I do. There's so many great creators out there, and I like, once in a while we'll do a push video where we'll find someone who needs some subs, and we'll push that channel, see if we can help them get to a certain point. I used to do that a lot more. I used to do that a lot more. And Me and Jennifer Tochi used to do that, and we had a lot of fun doing it. I don't do it as much anymore, which I should probably try to fix. But that was a lot of fun too, to get out there and just to get out there and just push somebody else's channel. Yeah, I'm about that. See, it's been a while since I've done a A24 panel. It's been a minute. I've I we it's been too long, honestly. We did a two, and I have to have Monty on every one. Monty is Mr. A24 for me. That guy, he knows more about A24 films. Plus, he busts my chops, and I have to have him on. Um, and so he encourages me. Though he doesn't know it, he inspires me to do an A24 film. And I know you guys love A24 too, which is why I invited you guys on, because I I I have some A24 films. I mean, Saul walks up to me and says, "Here, have this." I'm not denying it. But I have a lot of the early films. See, that's the thing. I have a lot of the pre-hype movies, or the movies that didn't do anything. Everybody now has The Witch, and they have Hereditary, and they have Midsummer, and they have The Lighthouse, and I don't necessarily have a lot of those. I have a lot of the early ones. See, I don't have either one of those. Waves and Moonlight. I have neither one. I look, I look, but I have never. Yeah, you know what? That's what I've been doing. The Clash of Titans, Trenchy. Um, Man, but I gotta be honest with you. It's crippled me a little bit, not having the Instagram. I'm trying to get it fixed, and it's hard as hell. It's not easy. Um, but it does has crippled me a little bit. Uh, so, but yeah, I like doing Clash of the Titans. I think that's a really fun show, and I like to get more of it. And I'm gonna try to get a few more in August. Have a great day. Say hi to Pumpkin and Monkey for me. Mm, all right. Let me get back real quick here. Let me shoot out a few more of these shares here. All right. Oops. Crap. Oh, I have to deny that. Oh, let me tell Mike. Oh my God. Thank God it was him. Yeah, he'll get a crack. He'll crack up when he says, "What were you sending everybody to Gareth channel for?" It's just like, oh my God. Uh, I got. That was. I'm so glad it's somebody I know. I'd be totally. All right. I'm thinking. Well, thank God it was Mike, because if it had been anybody else right now, I'd be totally booted. Okay. Oh, okay. Jeez. Holy cow. Oh God, Mike, I was just talking about you, man. Mike, on your Facebook group, I just posted a posted on there. Go ahead and delete that, man. I posted it with Dylan Von Harvey, and I inadvertently put Gareth, a playlist of Gareth on there as well. So if you could go ahead and delete that, and I'm gonna resend the correct one, that would be awesome. I got another Motorola. I got an. I don't know exactly the model number it is, but I did fix my sound issue. I had echoing problems yesterday, which is why I had to go back to my old phone. But I figured it out. For someone who's not very tech savvy, I was MacGyvering it. Yeah. So I did fix that. So we'll be good to go tonight with Dylan Von Harvey. Thank God you're sitting there in the chat too, guys. Sitting there going like, why did I just send that to Mike? I mean, he's gonna, Mr. Bones. What's up, Mr. Bone from the Boneyard? Uh, see, Bones. You could send me that drop of Swamp Kitty. I could play Swamp Kitty. Whenever Erica comes in, we have to play Swamp Kitty. All right. That was that was embarrassing. Oh, okay. 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 Let me. Yeah. Okay. Let me go over there and do that. I thought you had to approve it first before I could get in there. Let's see. Let's see. Oh, there I go. What? Oh, I took your name. Okay, I know what I'm gonna do. Go back. Oh, that's interesting. Wow. I think someone tried to steal your group's thunder, Mike. Well, that's interesting. All right. Actually, I can save it. Okay. All right, Mike, I fixed it. So I just set it. I just clicked on it again. If you feel like oh wow, you you already let it go. Thank you. Wow. All right. Oh, awesome. I don't know if this will work or not, but I'm gonna still do it anyway. Um, all right. So yeah, I'll do it. All right, so here is a link to Mike's YouTube Facebook group right here. It's YouTubers helping YouTubers. it's a private group, so it is protected. Um, but if you want to go over there, if you have a Facebook page and you want to go over there, and he's very generous. He's very generous. He'll allow you to post. I only ask that if you do post, just as far as promoting goes, just one a day, one a day, not 20, one. Um, and he's very gracious in allowing us to share our shows on YouTube. Does he have nachos? I have nachos. I have nacho cheese. That's right. So yes, and so there he is. All right. All right. So we are still sharing out Dylan Von Harvey. Um, now that I didn't, there's Garrett still talking to Matthias Hughes. Man, I tell you, you know, I didn't even think about this, but I bet if I went and asked somebody, I bet he'd probably help me get a deal, get an interview with him. You know what? I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna ask. All right. All right. Let me go back to. All right. That's cool. Yeah. So interviewing Jeff Kirkendall on the 27th. Man, we're gonna be busy that night. Um, I'm gonna be busy. So I'm gonna be talking to Jeff Kirkendall at 6 o'clock on Sunday the 27th. 6 o'clock. And then I'm going to turn right around and we're going to do the ISC Midnight Show, and we will be doing the Clove Hitch Killer. That one will be disturbing. I'm telling you now. Yeah, that'll be interesting. And then next month for the ISC show, Mary Wilson will be hosting with us, and oh, I should mention, we'll be joined by a special guest, a special knight, and Ken Sledge from Sledgehammer Horror. He is also another A24 guy as well. He loves A24. Him and his wife Ashley. I'm always getting him shit about Hereditary because I just can't stand that movie. Um, yeah, how about that? I can't wait, man. Clove Hitch Killer is going to be cool as hell, but that's a disturbing movie, man. It is. So you know, um, definitely one to think about. And then next month in August, we're going to be doing Z, and that's our Mary Wilson will be hosting, and that will be our second Shutter film. Last month we did our first Shutter film. The reason why we did it was because basically Shutter, IFC, and Shutter are basically work under AMC, and Shutter basically absorbed. They basically absorbed IFC Midnight. So I don't think, I mean, they have no one's come up with anything saying that IFC Midnight's gone for good, but it's no longer coming out underneath IFC Midnight. So um you know what? Definitely. That's the thing is, so I'm trying to find the physical copies of these movies. There's I definitely want to see, I think there's another Shutter movie called Glorious with Ryan Quatain. I really want to get that one too. I hear that one's really cool. It sort of has a John Must Die. A John Must Die at the end has that sort of vibe to it. But yeah, Clove Hitch Killer is it's really interesting too because Dylan McDermott is in that film, and he did a movie with Sophie Turner called Josie. Um, that movie was it got gets slept on. That movie is really interesting, and it is actually a very it's a sad movie though. It's a horror movie, but it's a sad movie. Man, that movie fucked with me a little bit. But Sophie Turner can act too. That was the first time I've ever seen her act. I mean, I seen clips of her on Games of Thrones, but I've never really seen her really act. And she's really good. She's really good. All right, let me go back to Dylan von Harvey, and then I'm gonna update with what I where have I been? Okay. Oh, all right. Oh, all right. Yeah, I gotta figure out I know I'm trying to figure out what I want to do after the Clovehitz killer. Um, Still trying to get back on this one. They gave me so here's what they did. I couldn't get text until I got the new phone. So they want to send me a code. So I typed in the code, and then they want to make sure it's me. So they told me to put up my phone, and they would tell me what to do to make sure that it's really me. But when I got there, it doesn't work. So you can show your face, and it's like it's face recognition, I guess, and it doesn't work. So or at least it didn't work yesterday. So I'm gonna retry it again. Um, yeah, I want. Why do they keep taking them? Wow, wow. Oh, and Casey. Okay. Oh, that was cool. Shit, maybe I'll have to have Casey make me one. I have no idea. And the thing is, though, is like I just saw this article in the online that Meta has well, first they're complaining like they eliminated like tens of thousands of accounts that they just they eliminated them and or suspended them or what have you, and people are sitting there they didn't do anything wrong. It's like this happened. It's just boof like with mine, and no reasons given or anything. It's just like gone. And like my Facebook is still going, and my they took away my threads twice. And I peeled it, and I'm going like, I didn't do anything. Could you just put it back? And I said, and while you're doing that, could you do it with Instagram as well? Well, they put it back. They put the threads back both times, but not with my Instagram. So I don't know. I'm gonna try again. But at least I know now I can get text. So that's you know I'm gonna try. Hopefully, I can try it again with. Oh, yeah. See, that's yeah. You know what? They got me because I asked a question. I asked somebody a question um on their channel, and I got nailed for that. Just a regular I asked for an interview. I said, would that, it's just, would I, could I interview you? Bam, I got nailed for that. But that's the only time that ever happened. But yeah, they're super sensitive. Well, and now they're saying that they're attempting to clean up Facebook of all these AI channels. Oh, that's horseshit right there. Uh, I asked publicly in a post, and someone posted, and I said, how does one get an interview with you? And I got nailed for that. It looked like I was trying to spam, and I was like, wow, really? Because they were doing that too. They're doing the with the PMs. I don't think they're doing it as much now, but they're doing the PMs. They were like adulting us. Um, Allowing you to only ask one question. Like if I saw you, Bones, I say, "Hey, Mr. Bones, would you like to do in an interview?" I sent you a question. I would have to wait until you answered it before we could communicate. I couldn't send you another question. I couldn't sit there and say, "Wow, maybe he missed it. Maybe I'll just ask, I'll ask him again." I'll say, "Hey, I couldn't do it. You're only allowed to ask one question." I think they were trying. I think they thought they were protecting their high profile clients um, by doing that, which is stupid. It's like, what? We think these guys are like 5 years old? They can handle the social media accounts. They have managers for that. They have block buttons, just like we do. If they don't want to talk to nobody, they don't have to talk to anybody. It's you don't need it. You don't need to protect them. They can do that. They can do that themselves. Yeah, yeah, it was making it very hard. But then they were sort of relaxing on that toward yeah, that's a weird one. So, so what, the best way to do it was to actually contact the person you wanted to talk to, hopefully get them to talk to you back, and then sit there and say, I'm sending you a DM. I'll send you a private message. But okay, let me go back. See, Cheryl says she's still there. She's gassing up. Okay, so I got to ask it because everybody else is going to ask it. Are you gassing up Laverne or are you at Taco Bell? Just throwing that out there. Okay. I'm only asking the questions that I know Bones would be asking himself. And he's laughing, so I know I'm right about that. See, that's right. All right. Okay, so what I was thinking. You know what I'm thinking about? I'm thinking, but the more I think about this, the more I can remember the first time I saw anybody interview anybody. It was Sean Patrick Urshan. He was the first person I saw interview anybody on YouTube. I think he interviewed Sandy Johnson. Now that I think about it, he was the very first person I saw interview anybody. That was a cute interview too. God, he was so nervous. He was so nervous. He was so nervous. But he did a great job, though. Boy, that made me him being nervous made me nervous. Let's see. She had tacos on Monday. Uh, so it gasses me up. Wow. I'm sitting here sharing this out and going like, yeah, that's right. Sean Patrick Urshan. Ah, okay. I tell you what's an adventure, and that is public groups on Facebook. Jesus, man, that's a mixing bowl. Public groups are. I try to join private ones when I can because it's somewhat sane. But but public groups, man, they are a trip. Okay, so far they've been nice to me. I'm waiting for Facebook to sit there and say, "You've sent out 5 people already. That's enough." But so far they've been all right. Because it confuses me is like they sit there and they tell us that they want us to grow our groups. Well, in order to grow our groups, we have to be able to tell about it, talk about it. And it's like, well, we want you to share, but we don't know how to have you share. Hmm. Okay, what are we up to now? We should be up over 12. We are at 13. I'm gonna take a break. Hey Jerry, how are you? Uh, this, oh, I know, right? Oh, I love that. The horror corner. I always tell Sean I always get freaking lost in the corner. That's a great gimmick, man. I love that. I mean, that is such a cool thing. Welcome to the horror corner. I think it's one of the best. We're doing fine, man. We're just here just rapping and I'm pushing our show tonight. I should go ahead and drop, you guys could share it out if you want to. I'll grab the link and if you guys want to push it along on your community tab, I would not be adverse to that. I would probably really like it a lot. So let me drop that link in the chat here. And you guys, like I said, if you guys want to push it, that'll be awesome. All right, so that's the show tonight right there. Like I said, if you want to push it on your community tabs, that'll be awesome. Come by, say hi. That would be great as well. We definitely know that, man, uh, uh, that would be awesome. Got a shout out. Swamp Kitty posted Bones, the Witch's Moon unboxing. So Erica's added again, and that's cool as hell. Thank you so much, Cheryl. You would be, you should try to do some film reviews. You'd be fun. I think I think you could get a lot of people watching movies. I tell you what, I'm impressed. When you told me you were watching Malicious, I was impressed. Yeah, more movie halls. Yeah, I'm gonna tell her. I'm gonna tell her that too. More Swamp Kitty. Yeah, she is. Yeah, she certainly is. Erica, definitely. Always so good to see her. I'm glad her stalker went away too, man. That was cool, man. Teaming up with all you guys, chase that guy away. That guy was a freak. Oh man, I hate stalkers. There she is, New York girl, Florida heart. Well, New York gal is a Yankees fan. I mean, anybody says New York's got to be a Yankees fan. Florida heart. Uh, so Dylan Von Harvey will be our guest tonight. And let me tell. I love this story here. Some of you have heard it. I'm sure that Bones has heard it. So, so a few years ago, well, this is the trippiest thing. So a few years ago, we're all doing what we call Wild Eye Wednesdays. That's where we got sent movies from Wild Eye, and then we would do reviews. And there were a bunch of people doing it, including Bones here. We were reviewing movies that we got from Wild Eye. So one of the movies that I got sent was a movie called Bone Hill Road. I knew the lead actress in that movie was a girl named Ellie Greer, and I actually met her on back when I had it. I met her on Twitter before I even knew anything about anything else on Twitter. I was writing a blog, and so I was promoting my blog on Twitter, and I met Ellie Gear there, and she was talking about Bone Hill Road. So that was the very first time I ever heard about it. But then I left Twitter. I just said it's a cesspool. So I left Twitter and I, do Facebook. And what's the difference, right? But I started doing Facebook and I started doing Instagram and YouTube. And when I got on YouTube, I met a friend named Dan. Uh, um, uh, and he's the one that turned me on to Wild Eye. I saw some other content creators. They were also doing Wild Eye reviews, but Dan Dawson is the one that turned me on to them and introduced me to Rob, who owns the company. So Rob, to his credit, even to today, I'm sure he still does it. He surfs different platforms to see who is promoting. See he if he notice if he notices that you are doing reviews of Wild Eye, chances are he might contact you and ask if you want to do some reviews. He might send you some movies. Well, he was very kind, and he sent me some movies, like he said, Bones and some other people, Hobbs Horror, um, and and one of the movies he sent me was a movie called Bone Hill Road. I remember the movie name because of meeting Ellie Gear, who was the lead actress in the movie. I remember that because she was pushing tarot cards back then. So so I got a copy of Bone Hill Road. Uh oh snap. Oh snap. It's the budget bala himself, the mighty Professor Macabro, president of the budget ballas. What's up? What's up, Professor? Uh so yes, you'll want to add that to the watch list. So I go ahead and I get a copy of being now remember I am a horror channel. So be very careful because I'm all about the horror. Yeah. So anyway, I get Bone Hill Road and I do something unusual about this. Most of the time you watch the movie, right? You watch the movie, then you come back and watch the special features. I watch the special features first. I just want to see what they have. And on it, they had like a 40-minute documentary on the making of Bone Hill Road, directed by Todd Sheets and starring Linnea Quigley and the sultry Dylan Von Harvey. I'm watching the making of the movie. Todd Sheets has got to be the nicest guy on the planet. That guy, I mean, he I think independent film crews should go to Todd and take a workshop on how to retain cast and crew. He had a cast and crew. I mean, I'm not even kidding you. There must have been at least 60 people there, maybe even more. They all want to help him make his movie. I watched this movie. He's the nicest guy. He's the nicest guy. So I'm like, wow, this is gonna be so cool. I turn on Bone Hill Road. I'll be honest with you, I didn't make it 30 minutes. I didn't make it 30 minutes. I was sitting there going, man, what the hell? Because it's very violent, very violent. And one of the killer was played by Douglas Epps. And I remember pinging him going, man, dude, man, I that movie is violent as hell. But Douglas Epps is the nicest guy right behind Todd Sheets. And he says, I understand it, it's not for everybody. We had Doug on the show twice. We've had Doug on the show. Um, yes. And the thing about it is, so it's like I don't mind gore. Okay, I don't mind that. I mean, everybody's watched anything, hell, if you watch Scanners, you know, you can handle gore. I don't mind gore, and I didn't mind it in Bone Hill Road. But what I do mind, and it does upset me, is the suffering. And that is like his character, Douglas's character, he kills one character and it's like it's a stab, it's stabbing. And it's drawn out. The victim is suffering. She's screaming and it looks very painful. It's not like it's Friday the 13th, where they go up there and slice the throat and then the person's dead, right? Falls down dead. No, it's like chopping off five fingers, and watching the reaction. It's very graphic and it's drawn out. I don't do very well with that. It's like, I just don't. And so I didn't make it about 30 minutes into the movie, and I said, no, that's not for me. That's not for me. And I talked to Doug, and we talked about the movie, and I talked to Dylin as well. She's in the movie, and we talked about it. And it did help though that like I did help that I watched the documentary with Todd. But it was really such a disconnect because it was like this is a guy that if he tripped, he'd be the first one there with his hand out. You know, he's just the nicest guy out there. Um, you know, I'm sure he's sitting there, I'm sure he's probably sitting on the set going through his scenes and sitting there talking to his talent and going like, are you okay? Is everything all right? Can we get you anything? Okay, and now I'm going to kill you on screen for the next 10 minutes. Are you okay with this? We're here for you. We're here for you. And then it goes out there and kills somebody for 10 minutes on screen. It's a really weird disconnect. And then you look at his movies, you go like, how is this guy being so nice? And then you watch his movies, you go like, holy shit. This is, it's yes, your suffering will be legendary even in hell. Um, so yeah. So I didn't do too well with that movie. I just nope. Um, I still have my copy. I still have not watched it. Even after I talked to Douglas and I talked to Dylan, I still have not been able to go up there and um, watch Bone Hill Road. Um, so that's what I mean. I was impressed with Cheryl when she said she watched Malicious, because I watched Malicious, and man, that's a hard movie to watch. That's a good movie. Like I said, it's a good movie, but it's a hard one to watch. Um, don't know how many repeat. I'd probably go back and watch it again. Just to see what I missed for the first time out. Plus, it helps knowing somebody. It's even though there is something new and weird about doing the interviews. Um, when you interview people and then you see their movies, um, man, you don't want to see them die. You just go like, oh hell no. Uh, let's see. Oh, the Master of Mazers is here. Interweb Kaiju. Uh, man, Dangerous Animal looks awesome. Uh, yes, the nicest, most kind people make great villains or can direct extreme suffering, mostly because nice people go through. Man, I couldn't do that. Yeah, man, I want to see Dangerous Animals too. I really hope that the library comes through with that one. I might have to. I'm gonna probably have to rent that when it drops, because I like Jai Courtney. He's a great villain. And I definitely gotta give him credit for he and Tom Cruise had a fantastic final fight in the first Jack Reacher movie. That was a banger. I know, man. Look at this. Budget ballers meet boutique ballers. Oh snap. And Mr. Bones did a video on he got Ghoulies Go to College, Ghoulies 3 Go to College. Um I gotta get that. Yeah, I want to see Dangerous Animals too. That looks off the chain. That's that's something that you can actually see happening. And you're wondering why it hasn't happened before. Like, hasn't someone already tried to do that? Yeah, Ghoulies 3 is awesome. Now, some of you guys might know that my friend Eric from Hey Internet, it's Eric here. So him and I had our second annual Sharks versus Schlock battle, and that was when I sent him Bash Shark movies, and he sends me Bash Schlock movies. He actually sent me Ghoulies 3, thinking, "Oh yeah, you're gonna really hate this. I don't see how you're not gonna be able to handle this." I'm like, I'm like, what's not to like in part three? Uh, Eva LaRue, Hope Marie Carlton, Kevin McCarthy. Yeah, I'm there for that. All right, it's our good friend Frog. What's going on, Frog? Oh God, yes. Leprechaun. Oh, you know what? That's the worst movie for sure he sent me. But I've nailed him 6 ways to Sunday. I sent him Sharks in the Corn, and I sent him Mountain Shark, and I sent him Megalodon versus Sasquatch. I easily have dominated him as far as sending him bad movies. You can go check you should check out the rant he did for Megalodon versus Squatch. It's 30 minutes. He went off on me in that movie for 30 minutes. I haven't been more proud. Uh, you haven't seen any of the Jack Reachers, Casey? Okay, so here, that's an interesting franchise. So Jack, the first two Jack Reacher movies, we all know that Tom Cruise did it. Um, and I am not gonna crush on Tom Cruise. I liked his Jack Reacher. I like both those movies. That Never Go Back. But Tom Cruise just was not Jack Reacher. In the book, I don't know if anybody's read any of the Jack Reacher books, but in the book, he's 6'5", 255 pounds. He's a big man. And Tom Cruise is like 5'8", 170 pounds. So the Reacher fans from the book, while they were happy to get a movie made, um, yes, oh no, yeah, Alan Ritchson, who we talked about earlier, is Jack Reacher. They could not have picked a better person for that. He definitely, he really does. He really, I mean, if you read the books, that you can really appreciate just how perfect the casting it really is. He sounds just like him. But I can't harsh on the two Jack Reacher movies, because I think without those two movies doing as well as they did, we're not getting a TV Reacher. We're not going to get that. So definitely the TV Reacher is definitely, we owe it partially to Tom Cruise. Oh, I think we're going to be losing our overcast here. Yes, yeah, that was a badass scene. I thought the scene in Never Go Back, the opening scene in Never Go Back, was pretty good too. Where he's sitting inside the restaurant when the cops walked in there. Now they played it smart in the fact that they didn't have Jack Reacher Jack Tom Cruise stand up, because the sheriff was so much bigger than Tom Cruise. It's like, yeah, you can't have him stand up and approach the sheriff, because that just wouldn't work. I found the second season of Jack Reacher at the library, which I got for a quarter. I know the professor would approve of that. Every time I go there Tuesday, I always sit there and say, "Okay, I got a movie for a quarter. Would the professor approve of this purchase?" That Apple boxes. What time is it? Oh, it's 1:40 already. Okay, we'll keep this party going till 2, and then we'll slide on out of here. Um I got the first season of The Girls Next Door this week. I had no idea what that show was. Boy, people came out there and started telling me about the show. I'm like, I remember hearing about it, but I think it was on MTV. I know it was on TV. That's the only thing I knew about it. Let's see. And before I go, let me tell off the calendar real quick. I'm still looking for stuff to do in August. I have a tentative in August 9th, but we'll have to see about it. Tonight, you already know about tonight. Dial in on Harvey, 8 o'clock. Saturday, 8 o'clock, I'll be doing a watch party with Gabriella Westwood. Yeah, I didn't know that, Professor. I just saw this as the girls next door. They had a picture of Hugh Hefner on there. And I remember hearing about that show, but I never saw it. I don't know who the girls were or anything like that. I just knew that they were reality TV. That's all I know about it. But so I said, hey, for that one I paid 75 cents for. So I said, okay, I'll Oh, okay. I remember seeing some of the girls doing other things like on Family Feud or whatnot. I'm glad you guys are here too. I hope you guys all come back tonight. It is Thursday night, so I'll be doing my show, and then at 10 o'clock, I think the Midnight Hour will be up and running. I'm not unless Hobbs is running it, then it'll be 12:15. The DVDs are uncut. Oh, so there's some sassiness in it. Well, I guess I should have guessed that with Hugh Hefner, right? I thought that show was made for MTV, though, Professor. Are you sure about that uncut stuff? Because I think that show was on MTV, and they don't show any sassy. Huh. So we're doing a Haley Bennett show. She is Love, 8 o'clock on the 19th. On the 20th, we are doing the Midnight Society is returning with another A24 night. I'll be joined by the Nat, the Cat and the Nat will be here, and we're going to be hosting the Wonder Twins that are sitting in the chat there. The Wonder Twins will be joined by Monty Horror Miser, Monty G. And we are going to be talking and going in depth into the Black Coat's Daughter. I cannot wait for that. It's been a while since we've done an A24 film. And of course, Monty's going to be there. And then that is it for that week. I don't have anything. I only got one other show. I have to find some guests, which I should do. I should try to find somebody to come talk with. And then on the 27th, we have two shows. We're doing a double header. At 6 p.m., we'll be talking with actor and producer Jeff Kirkendall. This is the kickoff to Polonia Week as well. We're doing a Polonia Week on the 27th through the 31st, and we're doing Mark Polonia Week to lead up to Grossfest, August 1st and 2nd. This is our way of chipping in and helping the Grossfest get a few more heads out there. Okay. Okay. I think I probably must have gotten the fuzz part. Yeah. I must have got the blur. Yeah, I don't think the library would sell that. I don't know what the library would sell. I don't think it would sell the uncut version. No, I don't. Some 10-year-old kid picks up that, and there might be hell to pay. So we're kicking off our second semi-annual Mark Polonia Film Week. I'm reviewing 5 Polonia films, and then we're talking to Jeff Kirkendall on the 27th at 6 p.m. and then at 8 o'clock, I'll be joined by the Mighty Mary Wilson, Ben, and maybe if he's done, maybe Gigan will come pay a visit as well. That would be awesome. I hope that happens. And then we'll be covering, and Ken Sledge from Sledgehammer Horror will be our special guest. And we will be talking about the IFC Midnight film, The Clove Hitch Killer, on the 27th at 8 o'clock Eastern Time. So we still got some fun going on here on the channel. Um, Still trying to put some Clash of the Titans together. Um, we'll see. Uh, got some leads on some guests, possibly. Working on maybe bringing back some old favorites. Um, we'll just take it as we go. But for tonight, it's all about Dylan von Harvey. Uh, she'll be here at 8 o'clock. I can't wait to see her again. She's such a cool girl, and I like her husband. Her husband has my respect. He definitely loves his wife. That's for damn sure. I think his wife is her husband is a really nice guy, and 110% supports her, and any way he can, and that's so much respect. And so so it's gonna be fun tonight. She really is one of the nicest people. Holy shit! And yeah, I can't say enough. And I'm always glad to have her on the show. And yes, if things go properly, we'll have one of our other favorite screen queens come on as well, hopefully in August, and working on that as well. Um, Thank you so much for that. I appreciate it so much. Yeah, hit the notification bell whenever we've got some new stuff up. Of course, we got Dollar Theater going on every Monday and Friday. Dollar Theater is a series that our friend Hobbs Horse started. Mr. Bones was doing it. Hopefully, Mr. Bones will jump in on it, back on it, because he's missed on the Dollar Theater route. And that is where we watch, and the professor should get on this action as well. I don't know why the professor has not gotten on this, since he is budget bala president. I know Cat Nato. I'm all about that. I'm so all about that. I gotta see. I gotta see Cat Nato. I only heard there's like 5 cats in it though. It's like, what the hell? It's like boob Nato. Uh, Um, so we're doing Dollar Theater on Monday. That's an ongoing series started by our friend Hobbs Horror, where we watch and review films that we get for $1.25 or less. That's right, because we're budget ballers. We poor. Um, so that's what we do. We look for movies that we get for $1.25 or under, and we review them. Friday is Dollar Theater Voters Edition. We put up 4 movies. You guys vote on which one that you want me and the Cheetah to watch and review. I can tell you right now, we will be watching and reviewing Dracula from 1931. For sure. Hey, Treasure Woman, how are you? Glad you're here. Glad you're here. Um, and see, let's see, Todd. I'll see the 2 favorites of Dylan's are Clownado. Clownado was fun. Clownado was a lot of fun. I have not seen Final Caller yet. Yeah, that's a cat breed. That's like shedding, Professor. Yeah, I see more fur on a cat brush. Um, okay, I'll tell you one last story before I let you guys all go. Um, so the cheetah is a short hair. He has short hair. Cheetahs are not long hairs; they're short hair. So and I have a staircase, and when I have to go and I have to clean up the staircase, a lot of his fur's there, and as you know, he's orange and white. And so when I go ahead and I have to vacuum and clean up the stairs and whatnot, all I got is white fur. All I see is just white fur, like no orange fur, none. Um, so I get him a brush because I misplaced mine. I don't know where it's at, so I know that he's, when I went to pet him and I came up with a handful of fur, so I'm like, well, you need to be brushed. So I went ahead and did that. I know where all the orange fur's at now. The orange fur does not fall off by itself. You have to help it along. And so if you take a cat brush and brush orange cat's fur, that's where you'll get all their fur at. I could have made my own shark needle, or cat needle. Um, yeah, he wants to keep the orange. I could have made my own Catnado movie with the amount of fur that I took off of him. He, yes, yes, he does. Yes, he does. All right. This has been a lot of fun. Thank you guys all for coming out and hanging out with us. Um, New phone works fine. No delay. So we will not be being kicked off anymore. Starting tonight. Thank God. We only got kicked off once last night. With our talking to Nick. But yeah, by all means, we'll see you guys tonight at 8 o'clock. If I don't see you 8 o'clock tonight, we'll see you a little later on that night over in the midnight hour with Bones and Mighty Casey and Hobbs. Hobbs. Hi. All right. Have a great day, everybody. Peace.